Hey everybody, it's Alexis with Create Your Future. Happy Monday. Thank you for being here and joining me for my video. And today, let's talk about relationships as always. Well, not always, but most of the time, okay? And manifesting for your specific person when you have feelings of fear, anticipatory anxiety, thinking it's not going to work out, and having a whole bunch of things that I see with a lot of clients. I have a success story of a client who had a lot of these things, and then she manifested through it, used the power of her mind, her consciousness to change it, and then everything began to happen for her. So exciting. Okay, before I get started, thank you for liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. Please hit the bell icon in the box below and you get notified every time that we post new videos, which is so exciting. Okay, so now I want to say out the gate, the information for booking one-on-one coaching, hypnosis, getting all my offerings is in the box below also. Okay, now I want to say, if this speaks to you, being afraid of the unknown in relationships, being afraid of the unknown in your manifesting, having underlying insecurities, underlying fears, you guys, that's very normal, okay? The idea first of conscious manifesting, that your reality comes from you, that your thoughts dictate who people are, that how you describe people to be within you consistently, persistently, is how people show up out there in your physical reality. For most people that are awakening to this information or learning and understanding how to recreate their reality, it's like an actually pretty big deal. So if it causes fear if you can do this, fear if you can focus, if your insecurities are coming up as you're manifesting and things are happening and it feels overwhelming, I would say that's really good news, because that means things are changing. That means that you're more aware. That means that you're more conscious. And that just means that you can get more conscientious, consistent, and diligent with what you're thinking and what you're holding within you. Now, when I say that, what you're thinking and what you're holding within you, like this client was manifesting for a specific person. They had had some time where they had gotten back together, and she'd actually done a lot of affirmations. They had gotten back together and then they broke up, and that was when she began coaching. Okay, so like any situation, there are three parts to her scenario. There's her. Who does she believe she is? Who does she describe herself to be within her? Who does she describe herself to be with her mental diet, with her focus throughout the day? Who does she describe? In this case, it was a he. Who is she holding within her? Who does she describe him to be today? Guess what, you guys? He gets to be my gold hair clip. I think this is like the third video where I have used a makeup or hair accessories in it, because it just happens to be what's around. Who is she describing her SP to be within her? Okay. And then who is she describing? Who is she thinking that the two of them are in their relationship dynamic? Those are the three areas of focus that I encourage you, as you're watching this, even if you've gotten most of the things you want and you're watching this as kind of a tip, or you're beginning at this to recreate your relationship, these are the areas to focus on. Okay. And really, really understanding, first of all, what's happening out there is your keys to changing it. How are they acting? How are you acting? How are you viewing yourself? How are you viewing the relationship? How are you acting? How are they acting? How is the relationship? First of all, you want to get aware of what's going on. There is not a deep, dark closet in your subconscious to investigate, or a block to figure out. Your blocks are what you're experiencing, what you're seeing, because you've thought it all into existence. Your feelings, who you are, all begins with your thought. Your whole reality began with thought. Your whole existence began with what was happening within you, in your imagination. That is your thoughts, your inner conversations, your imagination, the pictures that you see. But the easiest way to go about it is, what am I thinking? What am I describing? What am I holding within you? Okay. Because oftentimes people that are doing, what is happening? People that are doing imagination, living in the end, an end scene kind of thing, that is great. But it's like, hey, what are you thinking all the other times outside of that one imaginal scenario, right? So like I had this client do, I had her get very clear with me. Who is she being? Now, like I said in the beginning of the video, which I've seen a lot, I'm using it as an example. She was very afraid. She was very afraid of being vulnerable, being herself, being enough. She was afraid of him abandoning her. She had kind of like a rejectionment going on. She was afraid of rejection and she was afraid of abandonment, but she was really afraid of having to do life alone. She was never going to meet somebody. A lot of this underlying the relationship, which we needed to rectify and change as part of her self-concept. Okay. And then it's, who is he being? When we began coaching, they had gotten back together and then they went through a period of no contact. So in this scenario, who is he being? Right? He's being dismissive, not emotional, not involved, not consistent, not part of the day-to-day. There wasn't a lot of communication. And that's who she was describing. That's who he was showing up as. Third area is the relationship. Who are you with your person? How are the two of you? Again, looking at what was going on, right? What was happening with them is that they weren't connected. They weren't moving closer and closer. They didn't have a lot, not a lot in common, but there really wasn't a lot going on. There wasn't a lot of dates, not a lot of communication, not a lot of seeing each other. So we had to also change and think of that differently. Now, the biggest part to everything is you, what you're holding in space about you. So if you're tending to get afraid, feel very overwhelmed in terms of controlling what you're thinking, and it's causing a lot of fear. If you have a lot of fears about what's going to happen with your person, a lot of fears of it not working out, you want to really understand that the fears come from thoughts also. So being in control of what you're thinking, in control of your thoughts, in control of the scenario, knowing that it all comes from you is the best place to go to think the opposite of that. But you really want to get clear on. Now, this is a success story video. All my videos are success stories about people changing them. Usually, you know, because here we deal mostly with relationships, changing themselves, changing the person, changing the relationship. But that doesn't mean that you want to watch videos and then hear what other people have and then apply it to you. I really would encourage you instead to sit down and look at, what have I created? Even if it's a bunch of things you don't like, again, there is not a deep, dark corner of your subconscious to uproot and figure out. It is just to get clear on, this is what I've created. This is who I am, right? In this case, I'm afraid. I'm afraid of moving forwards. I'm afraid of feeling vulnerable. Who is he? He's dismissive. He's not emotional. Who are we? And then that gives you the key to how to change it, because you guys want to think of gently thinking the opposite. It is gently thinking the opposite. That's how we change the story in the mind. It is having a conviction about gently changing it to be the opposite. And that is your key. Okay. That is your key. The thing about it is you don't want to get really, really mad at yourself, really frustrated, want it to go away, want it to stop, want it to be over, want to trash it, want to change it, because through the power of your mind and how your mind is equipped, you get a lot of resistance going on. It keeps it in place. You want to instead think the opposite, no matter what is happening, no matter what anybody is doing, thinking the opposite. Now, again, you guys, like, this is huge information. Where in the world have you ever heard, oh, whatever they're doing, just ignore it and think differently instead? We have been taught and told a lot of other things, like their word, take them by their word is oak, people don't change, men don't change, women are this, men are that, they are this, they are that, blah, 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 blah. This goes against that. So it's like, if you're still struggling off and on or finding it difficult, it makes a lot of sense, especially if you're not around a lot of people that are supporting you and helping you along in your journey of creating what you want. Okay, now, all that said, let me get to the success story. Dear Alexis, thank you so much for all of your help, all of your guidance, and really holding my hand through what I feel like were some of the darkest nights of my soul and the darkest nights of my experience as a human thus far. I realize now that the relationship, yes, it all came from me. I realize, though, that it came from my concept of who I have been told I was, who I believed I was, and then therefore who I created over and over again in my relationship with him. So fast forward to now, he is calling, he is texting, and you won't believe that, yes, I am hearing all of my affirmations, and he really is becoming the person that I, as you told me, designed and built within me. And the person he has now has nothing to do with who I saw other people be. It has everything to do with who I am choosing and I am deciding he is. Once you told me that, that was a game changer. And I really began to, as you say, think bigger, go for the gold, and really create the person that I want from within me. I realize now that it all comes from me and that I can create it all, that it's all possible because it's just my thoughts. It's just what I am deciding. It's just what I'm thinking. Thank you so much for all of your help. And I look forward to seeing you in our next session. Okay. So the main thing there is that she is moving towards her full success story and the culmination of the relationship, but I know what she's referring to, and that is she's releasing and overcoming the fear, because the fear itself is an illusion. Now, your reality is an illusion itself, right? The energetic reality you're in itself is an illusion, but then we've created like lies and illusions within the illusions, like rejection, abandonment, and this whole fear thing. You guys, like, there is nothing to fear but fear itself. Oh my gosh, that's a saying. Okay. So how do we do this though, right? How do we change and overcome a fear, or I would say gently release the fear and step into empowerment and step into being fearless, step into being limitless? Well, I hate to be a dead horse, even though I don't like that saying, but it comes down to what you're thinking and who you're deciding that you are. If you've most of the time held fear in relationships and you've been afraid of moving forwards, or when you're with someone that a lot of fears and insecurities set in, it's just because that's how you've been describing yourself. So the way to change this is diligently and consistently thinking, I am in charge of me. I am changing my thoughts about myself. I'm changing my thoughts about me. I'm changing my thoughts about them. I am gently changing my thoughts about the relationship. And mostly, I'm changing me. This is my experience. It's my reality. It's my mind. I am shifting and changing and using this all as information and data, excuse me, so that I am creating the relationship, the commitment, the connection that I truly deserved. That's your key to everything. It's coming back to you. It's taking the blame, the looking, the focus. Once you know what's going on and you come back to it and you see, oh, I don't like that. I do like that. I don't like that. Or I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that. It's coming back to you. You can do this. We all have the power within us to change the focus, to stay on track, or to get back on track. You guys, we're still remodeling our house. Can anyone see that my eyes are red? I have been doing affirmations for it to happen quicker. And guess what? It's happening quicker. And guess what that means? More dust. It means that there's more dust, more construction. So I am no longer sick, but I have this itch in my throat and my eyes are so red. So I'm trying to not drink liquids while I am doing the video, because I'm already recording and I am still committed, even while all this is going on, to doing a weekly video for everybody, because I want you all to stay on track and begin your Monday morning with a new video. I even thought about posting an old video, you guys, but I was like, no, I am determined. Even the internet today was going off, okay? The internet was off. It was all wonky. And I said, no, I am doing my video. My video is getting aired. We have the internet, okay? Even I am persisting through all of this stuff in my face, okay? Anyone had a remodel, been through the same thing? It's going to be great at the end. But right now, it is just like a storm of all of our stuff everywhere, especially Logan's things. I can barely find his socks. But his socks are in the right place, okay? You got to find humor in these things, right? As you move through them. Okay, so you guys, like, the basics of this is that it comes down to you. Like I told this client, not all hope is lost. There is nothing to fear. You can do this. You can recreate this. You can do this. You can recreate this. And also getting out of a fear of feeling lonely, feeling alone as you're creating your relationship is also helpful, I think, because I think that the process of consciously manifesting your relationship, if you're watching videos, we're here on YouTube, it can feel very lonely because you don't feel maybe supported by people that understand the law of assumption, the law of attraction, creating your reality, and just that, like, you create your reality in general. Think about how many people most of us see, unless you've recreated all of this, and if you have, then congrats, okay? Most of us see people that complain, are victim mode, the victim of all these things, that are not really consciously creating their reality. So if this is you and you're recreating a relationship, give yourself a break Be there unconditionally for yourself as you manifest this. Really, really, really having unconditional acceptance, the feeling of unconditional self-love and acceptance as you recreate it, that will really help it to stay, to stick, and for you to see it through the long haul. You know, I remember when I was manifesting for marrying my husband and I was pregnant, and I really had to be there for myself through the whole process. When it looked like it was happening, it's not happening. It is happening, it's not happening. This is happening.